Good morning. I'm going to make sure everybody can hear me and show you the studio here. So we'll get some things going away, I think. If I can. No, I've got two things going there. That's not what I wanted. Let's try this. Nope. There we go. All right. So quick chat or confirmation. Everybody can hear really well. Can you hear me? Everybody hear okay? Okay, I got a thumbs up from Anne. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I see the text. Okay, we'll get started. I have to work on my audio on this side. I would like to be able to hear, well, maybe nobody said anything. Good. So I thought for the next few weeks we would work. A few years ago, I think, I don't know if it was during the pandemic or not, but I worked on some skiing stuff. So this will be practice for everybody, still really good balance work, good strength work. But I'm going to gear it a little bit toward Nordic skiing. So there's two kinds if you're not familiar, and not that you're going to go out and do this, but it's really good practice and it's really well-rounded exercise regardless. So we're going to work on some things. Today will probably be a little more geared toward classic. Classic keeps you in parallel a lot. So you're going forward with your lower body. You really move from your center of gravity here. And you use your arms quite a bit. I mean, both of them do, but you're going to move your arms in this way and in this way when you double pole, they call it. So we'll work with some of those things. The next few weeks, we'll see if we want to continue into January or if 3 weeks is enough of that and I get inspired with something else in January. So also be looking toward the schedule. There are some schedule changes. So I'll be teaching still, but I have two days and it looks like they're going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. I prefer them to be separated too, but that's just how the schedule is working out, it looks like. So yeah, I think that's it for announcements. Let's get started. So let's just start by kind of warming up and marching a little bit. And what might be nice for the next few practices is if you have a step, I have like a step stool. I found a step out here and I'll bring that in. It's still in my car because I've been able to get outside so much I haven't needed to use it, but just something that I can step on. So it doesn't even have to be very tall. And there at home, maybe you can, and we're not going to do a full-on cardio, but there is some utility to the muscles that you use when you bring your leg up onto a step or when you're walking or when you're coming down. So let's just move, kind of you can do higher knees if you want to. I'm just trying to get blood flowing. So far, I haven't had a chance to get out and move the big skeletal muscles yet. So coming up, I'm going to get some of that into this class. Today I'll use the weights. I'm also going to use my elastic and just having a chair. Again, I've got this mantle behind me, the wall, because as we do some balancing with skiing, I feel in classic, there's some balance, of course. It's not as much as there is when we do the skate skiing, and we'll work a little bit on that next week. So I'm going to give this a couple more marches and seeing how that feels to start to get a little more fatigued in my legs, lifting and feeling the pad of my feet to just kind of like fall down onto the floor and notice yesterday's run a little bit. Good. And then stopping that. And then we're going to take that straight into some squatting. Now, let's spread the toes apart so you can really get acquainted with your feet for today. And then bend the knees a little bit. bend the knees a little bit and just seeing how that feels. And then gradually taking your hips down a little bit more, down a little bit more. I've just found something to do with my hands. You can do what you'd like. Now we're going to switch it and we're going to come all the way up onto the toes. So you may want to have your hand on something. You may want a little more balance. I'm going to come down, come up, and go all the way up onto the balls of the feet. Yeah, if I don't have my balance, so when I go up onto the balls of the feet, I'm just going to take a little more time. I want to pause there a little bit if I can, so I've got control through the movement, coming down. First couple, I was coming down really fast, right? And up onto the balls of the feet and down. And now those muscles seem to be kind of on and ready to help balance and down, up and down, up and down. Good. And let's see if we can come up there in balance. You can always hang on to something. And can you feel the pinky sides of your feet? Heart rate up a little bit. That's okay. We'll bring it down by the end. Slowly coming down. Good. And then go ahead and shake it out. Just want to make sure my camera is okay for you to see. I think so. Yeah. We're going to come all the way down onto the mat. So come on down. Make sure there's nothing in the way of my feet. And just noticing the body. Heart rate might be up, respiratory rate might be up. That's good. We got the blood flowing. Let's bring the knees over the hips and let the feet drift up. You don't have to have straight legs, but just let them come up, and then bring the hands over the shoulders. And settle in a little bit, kind of noticing your back body. So the low back, where it meets the pelvis, your sacrum, and then notice, if you take your feet or let your legs go out just a little bit, see what happens with that, where that weight is in the back body. Head and shoulders are weighted. And then let's take one arm overhead and bring it back. And then take the other arm overhead and bring it back. And then let's let one leg drift away from center a little bit and come back. And opposite arm. Now I'm not doing my biggest movement right away. Test it out. Letting your leg fall maybe half the distance that you think it might eventually. Let's do a few more like that. I'm getting a sense of the hip joints here, the muscles that help move in my hip. Are they pretty fluid today? Or is there some? And then I might challenge it some more. Can I drop that heavy leg a little bit further? Other arm overhead, drop that leg a little bit further. And I'm trying not to rush my way back up to center. Dropping and lifting at the same rate. Dropping and lifting back to center. Dropping and lifting. Dropping and lifting. So whatever, go ahead and bring your legs in and hold them in if that feels good, or bring them to the floor. So whether you're walking, hiking, or doing this Nordic skiing classic style, we do a lot of this arm and leg movement, don't we? Arm, leg movement, that's the healthiest place for the gait. So let's bring the feet down. And then let's bring the hands interlaced behind the head. And with an exhale, lift the head and bring the shoulders off the mat, coming up into your mini crunch position. getting a sense of that opening between the shoulder blades, of the ribs knitting in to really bring you up as much as you can here. And trying not to grip in the front. We have plenty of that happening when we do get on the skis, when we do get to moving in our hiking and things like that. Maybe biking, there's a little bit less of that. And then coming back down. Releasing your tail, releasing the low back. And then let's do that again. We're going to take that into the 100, or it might be the 50 for you. And I've been really liking taking my hands to the back of the legs to give myself just a little more idea of how far can I come up. Because so many times in studio, I see people kind of coming up to a place that feels comfortable, but they could find a little more work for the belly by coming up just another couple centimeters. So hanging on to the legs, we've already kind of started here. See if you can take those breaths in and out. Now, how do I keep it out of the neck, out of the face? Using my arms a little bit. I can feel that across the top here. So I'm going to let go of my fingers, really concentrate on the belly. If you want more challenge, the legs can come up. If you want more challenge, one arm can bop. If you want more challenge, both arms can bop. Let's do 4 more breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming down and releasing. Releasing the jaw, releasing across the collarbones. You might even bring your fingertips to these areas just to give yourself a little somatic reminder. Reaching out. And releasing the mouth. Good. Hands alongside the body. We already worked with this a little bit. We're going to work with it a little bit differently, working in the hip flexors and that connection into the belly. And bring the knees over the hips. And let's let the shins be at a right angle with the knee. And so right off the bat, we're going to up the ante. If you want to lower the ante, bring your feet down a little bit. Let that angle be less. Okay. And we're going to let one heel come down to the floor and back up. Other heel tap and back up. Now we already did this kind of a long-legged version of it, right? Not completely straight leg, but we did this. And do you sense a difference in the fluidity here? Or is it about the same? If you feel a lot of clicking, you might find that just a little rotation in your femur can make a difference, whether that rotation is a little bit outward or a little bit inward. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we can discuss another day. Good. Both legs, let's bring the heels together. Tap and back in. Tap and up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring those legs in again if that feels nice for you. And it certainly feels nice for the back. Take a deep breath if you'd like. A little tricky when in this class, when our breath gets to be more of a cardio breath. kind of in and out of that a lot. So I'm going to just use some momentum here to come up to seated and come all the way to hands and knees. That's where we're headed next. And finding the hands grounding. One of the nicest things we can do for our wrists and our carpal tunnels is, believe it or not, feel grounded. A lot of our sense of, or a lot of problems in the wrist can sometimes come from not feeling grounded. So it's really nice to come into these positions, whether it's downward dog, planks, and learn how to feel grounded through the hands. I think also just feeling grounded in your body. So it's good to do it through the feet as well. So we've talked about this before, but just finding your fingers a little more active, pressing down in this position can take some of the weight off of what might feel uncomfortable deep in the palm and toward the wrist. Pushing the floor away, and then giving that up a little bit, letting your chest fall without bending your elbows. Pushing the floor away, letting the chest fall. Little shoulder work, pushing the floor away, chest falls, elbows straight. I'm not doing a push-up. They're coming. Just working with the shoulders. Good. Now take the tops of your hands, lean back a little bit so your hands are, and let the tops of the hands be on the mat, whether that's toward each other or forward, fingers forward, just getting a different feel for the wrists. And then let's bring the hands back. Knees over the hips, shoulders over the palms. And let's do a little shifting here. We're going to take one knee off and stretch it back, other arm out. Head in alignment with the body. You can lift that back leg if you'd like. See how straight you can be with that back leg. In your mind's eye, is the back of your knee straight? Bringing the hand back, knee back. Stretching out the other side. You can turn the toe under, reach through the heel, other hand comes off, lifting that leg, nice straight leg. Toes toward the floor, not turning the leg outward. That might be next time. This practice a little more in that parallel realm. Let's do each side again, a little quicker, but still that nice hold and that check in with the back knee. Let's reach through the toe, heel, toe, heel. Come back down. Other side reaches back, hand reaches forward, toe, heel, and coming back to the floor. Good. If you're a downward dog liking person, let's go ahead and do that. If not, you're welcome to rest in a child's pose. Again, nice to feel the hands here. You get to see your feet in parallel. This is how you would be if you were in skis. And in those tracks, they have tracks coming down. We're going to come all the way down to the belly. And we're going to keep working with some back body here. So much of our skiing, so much of our life we think is in our front body. Let's make sure we're also using the back body. So reaching through the right leg, nose and chin hovering here, hands alongside the body. Just going to reach that leg again, really nice and straight, back behind me. And see if I can come up without lifting my hips, without feeling the pelvic crest come away at all. See if I can hold that nice straight leg, really start reaching. And you can reach back there and sense you probably have hamstrings really working, glutes really working. Kind of sense, is your hamstring on? Is it going? Or are you lifting everything from your lower back or from the glute? Hamstring needs to work too. 3, 2, 1. And release that leg down. Give the whole body a little break, including anything in the back here. Of course, we use it a little bit, especially the higher we go. Here we go. Let's try the other side. Reach. Nice straight leg. In your mind's eye again, nice straight knee. When you're in the skis, you want to kick back. This is the position you're going to be in. Reaching back. Hold that leg up. See if you can bring that leg a little bit higher. Maybe feel backward. Yeah, if we're lifting as high as we can and being as straight as we can with that leg, heel might reach, toes might reach. Either way, the knee is still straight. It's a challenge. Bring that leg down. Whew. Good. So not even any weight in there, but really nice work for the body. Let's work with the upper body just a little. Nose and chin hover, but then lifting the nose and chin away without taking your gaze forward. Keep the gaze toward the floor. And see if you can lengthen between your shoulder blades out through the crown of your head. So it's shoulder blades coming up the back of the head, getting nice and long. Bring the shoulder blades in toward each other a little bit. And then using your hands at this point, press. Feeling your arms work to lift your ribs. Pull the belly in and hold. Pull the belly in. We don't want to take that pose in the low back whatsoever. So if you felt that's there, it demands more arms and more belly. Good work. Let's do that again. Relaxing down into the mat to start. Reaching through the crown of the head. So again, I'm thinking more, how do I stay nice and long through my spine from my shoulder blade area all the way out? And that lifts me up. Eyes toward the mat. Shoulder blades are going to come in a little bit now. I'm going to feel the hands, palms on the floor, elbows are kind of in toward my sides. And then I'm going to help press down, but every little bit that comes off the mat, the more my belly works. This time, if you'd like, you can hold here again or push to the knees. Be careful that you don't just pop your seat back. See if you can keep your seat where it was, lower down. One more, a little quicker, lift. Chin tucks a little bit. I want to keep that length. Elbows come in, shoulder blades come in, press. Belly really works. Nice. Good. Now take the seat back. Give a nice stretch back here. Nice stretch for the armpits. Nice stretch. Maybe you feel in your back. Maybe you feel in your seat. And then with the knees where they are, let's take the hands out one step forward. Let the pelvis come forward. That was too far for my hands, so you may have to adjust. It's good work to kind of walk on the hands a little. Find that good plank position. Again, I'm needing to work to not pop my seat back too much, but also not let it hang into my low back. If you'd like to, turning the toes under, lifting the knees. Plank. Pressing the floor away from you just like we did earlier. Finding your fingers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to take my knees down and bring them underneath me to seated. Good. I think I'm ready to come up to my feet again. So let's do that. And I think we're going to start with our weights. Yeah, and then we're going to move to the band. So let's find our weights. So different than kind of a routine yoga class where I'm instructing the breath often. We're getting the heart rate up, down, up, down. So I'm consciously trying not to think about or manage the breath. I'm letting it happen. I'm talking to you, so my breath is probably a little bit different too in that way. So we're going to work with those parallel squats again. If they don't feel good to you, you can take your feet a little bit wider. The wider you go, the more you're going to be apt to turn your toes out a little bit. It won't be exactly um, like in skiing, because you can't really do that. Next time when we do the skate skiing, you turn your feet out a lot. So parallel today though, let's take those weights down. And as we come up, push back, down, and push back a little bit with the arms. Down and push, down and push. How many should we do? No, Lois, it is December 1st, but we've already done more than one. So 1 times 15. Good. Sometimes we'd use the day of the week or the day of the month to direct our number of reps. Some days that worked pretty well. Other days didn't seem like quite enough. Are we getting there? You're probably counting at home. I'm talking. Let's do one more right here. Good. All right. That was kind of a swing back. I definitely was using my triceps. I'm going to take that into a true tricep work. Shoulder blades coming in. Actually, let's pull instead. Let's do pulls. So rows coming up and down. Little squeeze at the end, especially if your weights aren't quite enough. I could handle a little bit more weight here. So I'm going to do at least those 15 reps. You can let me know if I didn't do enough. Getting there, I'm going to do 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right. And just for good measure, this isn't really a movement we're going to do during skiing, but keeping the shoulders healthy. We do use our shoulders quite a bit when we get those movements down. And it's harder to work with your band going overhead. So let's take them overhead now. I see a message came in. I'll take a look in a moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. All right. That feels good. That feels like I'm really in the body, right? It feels nice to move with these weights, have that weight in the body, but also feeling those muscles go. I don't know if you get to that point where it's like, you don't mind it so much, feels good. Not that I always want to arrive, but when we arrive and start, we tend to continue. All right, so we're going to work with the band next. And we're going to grab the band. Lois's message makes me laugh. I'll tell you what it is so you don't have to go look. She thought it was the 30th today. So 30, I saved you all. You're going to grab the band like this, underhanded, and it's the best way I can kind of mimic a pull-up. And believe it or not, we kind of want to have this as though we had a bar here to pull ourselves up. We want to have this movement for the upper body. So let's give it a little pull here. You want a little pull outward. And we're going to give that a pull down and under the chin and back up. Down, down. And I really imagine having a lot of help and pulling myself, my chin up over. So my core is on, kind of pulling that in a little bit. I'm balanced over the feet. And I'm giving a pull on this just a little bit. You might notice where your elbows track. Good. 3. You feeling it? I'm feeling it on one side more than the other. 2. 1. Okay, now I want to grab, I'm just going to go ahead and stand on my band. Mine is, I'll take it out of my, next week we probably will use your elastic. And remember, I'm hoping you might have a step around. Might use our elastic with tied up. So if you've got a little bit longer one, that can be nice, but you won't need a really long one. This one's pretty long. Okay, got myself, gave everybody a little break while I stand on both sides here. And I'm gonna do bicep curls here. Oh boy, my band is really tough. I'm gonna let go a little bit, or I'm just gonna do fewer reps, really getting in some good pulling up here. You could be using your weights if your elastic is a little bit too lax for this. We'll do one more set. So I'm going to do 2 more here. Good. I'm going to come right back to that. I'm just going to step off for a moment, take my feet a little wide, and I'm going to do a little shift, lifting up, coming to one foot, coming back down, and shifting. Lifting up, you could even wave your toes around if you'd like, just seeing how your balance feels side to side. Coming up, coming up, lifting, lifting. Last one, lifting. Good. I'm going to step on there again. And ultimate goal might be 10. If you've got a lot of weight, maybe it's 6 or 8. Here we go. Bicep curls. Okay, got there. I got to that 10. Whew. All right, I'm gonna put that weight down, or put the band down. I'm gonna take I've got a chair, got something that I can use. I may or may not use it, but I'm gonna have it there to show how you can use it. And we're gonna do that same shift. I'm not quite as wide with my feet. I wanna keep them in parallel. So when I land, I'm pretty much in line with where I would be. And I'm gonna do a little lift here. And back, and lift, and tap back, and lift, and tap back, both feet. You could have your hand on something, lift, and tap back, lift, and tap back. Maybe just one fingertip at your support. Lift and tap back, lift and tap back. Ooh, almost lost it there. Lift and tap back, lift and tap back. One more. Lift and tap back. Both feet. Lift and tap and lift and tap. Switch. Lift and tap and lift and tap. Switch. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Switch. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Good. and bringing both feet down. Nice. Giving that a little space. I'm going to take one leg back, give it a nice distance here, and just making this movement, I'm going to get some length right down the front of the back leg hip flexor. Remember how I said you can move your knee in and out when we were doing our knee folds a long time ago? So having that knee pointed toward the floor, your heel up, and you can have your hand on something for some balance here. Maybe the front foot moves out just a little bit to give you a little more balance in the width of your mat. But we get a nice little, I'm feeling anyway, a nice little stretch. For some people, you're going to need to do a little more, but we're going to bring that knee to a bent position and our front knee to a bent position and come back up and bend and back up and bend and back up, bend and back up. Getting these lunges, good for the legs, all around the ankles, the feet. Good. Nice. And then step forward and let your toes do a little wiggle. Maybe you even want to be on the top of your foot a little bit. And then let's try the other side. So we took that big step back, and I try not to take that step back in line with my other foot, but rather kind of in line with where my hips would be normally, where that normal gait step would be. And I'll start with a nice long leg back here. The more I bend my front knee, the more I'm going to feel a little stretch in the front of the hip flexor to start. If you feel that in your back, find your belly, right? I'm not really tucking my tail, but I'm trying to bring my pelvis in alignment with the body. It can sometimes tip forward a lot. So let's bend that knee again back there and work with our lunges. Good. Let's do two more. Nice. All right, and then stepping forward. Good. So we're going to take that big stance again and bring my feet. I'm going to start a little bit further away from my chair. I'll put my chair out there. Take my step back, hopefully not off my mat. And this time leaning forward. Nice strong leg. Not so much pull, because as soon as I take my torso forward, that's out of there. But we're back to really having a really strong back leg back here, just like we did on the belly. Remember when we lifted the leg and we made sure everything was turned on? We're going to do that same thing here. I'm going to lean forward so much, the toes might come along. I'm going to stand more on my front leg. And whether your toes touch the floor or they lift, still nice straight leg back there. Toes toward the floor, knee toward the floor. Warrior three-like position. You're welcome to do what you'd like with your hands. Maybe your hands go alongside your body back here. Maybe they go out in front. Maybe they're on the chair. Really reaching back through toes or heel, and then bring that leg to the floor. All good. Let's try the other side. Taking that foot back, leaning forward. I'm going to lean forward so much I bring all the weight onto that front leg. Toes can come along. Toes can stay there. They might just pop up and pop down, or they come up to hold. And again, toes toward the floor, knee toward the floor. Sometimes, and you can get a good view of this right here, people turn their leg out and see how my pelvis is kind of kittywampus. I want my pelvis toward the floor, belly button toward the floor. Hands where you'd like them. 3, 2, 1. Bending the front knee, toes find the floor, and coming back to standing. So we're going to do one more here, showing the movement, right, when we get out and we're skiing in that parallel position. And we're going to come back to that lunging position. So taking a foot back, torso upright, bending both knees. And this time we're going to give a little twist to one side, center, twist to the other side. Center, twist, center, twist, center. Go ahead and lean forward and step forward. Now, did you notice one side feeling a little bit more of that twist than the other? And where would you feel it? So if you're like, I have no idea, guess what? We have another side we can try it on. Taking your foot back, second side, bending both knees. We'll take the hands up, kind of a goal pose. Twist, center, twist, center, twist, center, twist, center, straighten the legs, and step forward. Good. Lunge trivia. Maybe you figured out which way you feel a little bit more tug, and it's a tug pretty deep in the hip flexors when you twist one way or the other. Okay, let's put a little bit of this together. I'm going to take a step forward or a step back, whichever you'd like. I'm going to make sure my chair isn't too much in my way. Leaning forward, pushing off the back foot, lifting the back foot. And then if you'd like, just like we did earlier, we're going to see about coming up to upright and bringing that leg through knee up. And I lost my balance because I'm looking at you. Coming up. And then see if you can reach that leg back, maybe to the floor, maybe up again. And then everybody bringing that leg to the floor and stepping forward. So you can do that whole series with your hand at a chair as well. I'll do it front facing, taking a step forward. My foot's off the screen. Hopefully I don't kick the fireplace. And I'm going to lean forward again. Push off, steady, toes down, knee down back there. Come through, knee up. Nice balance. Maybe my hands are on something. Or even out a little bit. Maybe I work back to taking that leg back. Back up and down in front. Nice. All right. Let's come to the back of your mat. And then with your arms out in front, let's see about sitting back, starting that sit back and down, continuing down. And where do we feel like it starts to get a little stuck? Where you're like, I don't know. And then coming back up again. So analyzing as you go down, or kind of just noticing, where is it that I feel a stop? Is it feet? Is it ankles? Is it knees? And let's try that again, just so we're all noticing in our own bodies where that message is coming from. Keep everything really working. So as I go down, I'm not letting anything go. My legs are really helping secure the knees. And I'm thinking about my shins going forward as much as I can. Shins forward, and my seat going back. Shins forward, seat back. shins forward, seat back. Maybe you make it all the way down. Maybe you don't. Or maybe the heels come up a little bit and the hands can come to the floor. Let's just try that one more time, just for fun. And if you're only making it a certain amount, that's where we are today. We'll keep working on it. Coming down, squeezing the legs, strengthen the legs, make a good support for the knee. And then it's kind of getting over this. I'm going to take my hands forward and show like ankles come up, knees bend a lot, and I can even let my legs go then, right? And I can come down to the floor. So let's go ahead and do that, walking our knees and legs forward and through, and sitting up here. And in our nice spine stretch position, finding nice upright position for the body as much as you can. You're up on the sit bones. Take the arms out in front. Sometimes I let my knees pop up, but ground the heels. Take the chest back. And coming back up. And pulling back. Reaching back with my belly button, forward with my head. That same way we did with locust earlier when we were on the belly, right? Reaching through the back of the neck. See if you can find that in spine stretch. Belly reaches back. The arms certainly reach. Shoulders can do that. Can you find your head too? Belly pulls back. There's always that nice duality. Coming back up. Good. Scooting forward on your mat a little bit just so you have room to come down. And then grabbing on the back of the legs, heels grounded, belly pulls in. Slowly giving yourself a moment's pause in each position. Coming down to the floor. How long can you pause in each spot? Well, maybe not how long, but can you give it 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Now here, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And that's probably it for me, all the way down. And let's just rest here. Softening the face and jaw. Letting the legs flop. The feet relax. The low back. Noticing how the low back is with the legs extended. Does the low back feel broad when the legs are extended? Does it feel a little shorter? Or does it rest really easily on the floor? Softening the upper gums and the forehead. And letting the breath do what it wants. Body slowly acclimating to less activity. You might sense your body feeling a little heavier somewhere. or something that was tight, releasing. And then taking a purposeful, deeper breath, letting that exhale out like a sigh of relief. And then as you're ready, bring your feet to the floor, bending the knees. As you do that, take one more peek at the low back. The low back and back of the pelvis, do they feel different with your feet as they are, knees bent? No, the legs aren't long anymore. Do you notice a difference for the low back? And then as you're ready, we'll roll to your side. You can take as much time as you need to gently push yourself up to seated. And finished. So we'll continue next week with a little bit more of this kind of preparation, still recognizing a lot of your practices. I will throw in a few new things to me, practices I'm looking up online, seeing if I can incorporate them for skiing. So keeping it fresh for everybody, and but it's still a great practice for Pilates and strength coming up. It's the first of the month. It's a good time to start or stop something. So if you have time today to give that some thought, maybe there's something you'd like to start small. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Or maybe there's something you'd like to edit. And I'm going to use today for that to jumpstart something for myself. So have a good day, everybody, and I'll see you again next week.